Hello, people of the world. Tonight, we are looking at the famous Sol beer, Cerveza Importada. And, well, we don't have a big group, and some people said they were going to join, and they didn't join. We have a lot of people that have to work. They live in California. One person's car broke down. One person was basically saying, I don't want to drink that trash, and I can understand that. And
it's not that bad, is it?
Hey, if any of y'all have a Google chat that's chiming, you might want to shut that off, just because it'll keep going boom. You know how it'll go. Some people do videos, I notice, and they'll have Facebook on, and it'll just be chiming the whole time they'll record a video. But anyway, and then one guy had to go to emergency rock band practice. And anyway, but we're looking at Sol, and it's a product of Mexico, and it was. Anybody want to tell us when it was introduced?
1899.
Yeah, so 116 years ago. And it's as hey, Beer Cub, I think that sound's coming in your background. I'm going to mute you, but nothing personal, and then we'll let you talk when we. Okay, he's trying to figure out how to only let the volume go through his earbuds. But it's brewed in Monterrey, Mexico, which is in northeastern Mexico. I've never been to Monterrey, but I drove on the outskirts of it on the way to Saltillo once. Well, Sol was acquired by Cuauhtémoc Montezuma Beer Company. Oh, there's Jean. And then in around 2010, I believe it was 2010, Heineken International bought Cuauhtémoc Montezuma. So it's the same old story. You had a bunch of different independent beer companies in Mexico, right? And then one started buying out the others. And then the big guy came in and bought out the Mexican company, and that was Heineken, because they got the money to make it happen. Now we have Tanya. This beer is 4.5% alcohol, so it's very mild, 4.5%, right?
It's a light beer.
Rather light, and you know, you think a lot of Mexico is in the tropics, so you go down there in the summer, they're going to be drinking a lot of light. If you look at the posters and the advertisements for this beer, they often show it with a lime. They'll show a street scene with a lot of sunlight, and so it's a beach-oriented product. And of course, it's called sun. That's the Spanish word for sun, Sol. So apparently, the German immigrant who launched this beer in 1899 saw the sun shining through the glass, and he said, "That's what I'm going to name it, sun." And that's why they always have it in the clear bottles, because they want to show the bright, clear lager appearance. Okay, I'm pouring mine, and mine is a Pry cap, and it's a 32-ounce bottle that I bought for $2.29.
Mine's a 33-ounce bottle, Jay. I give $2.39 for today.
$2.39.
Yeah.
I had gotten a six-pack for $7.67 at Rouse's.
Now we're going to introduce all the people here. Oh, and by the way, I'll get to that. Out west, we have Tanya. I'm glad to have you back, Tanya.
Hi.
It's only 4:30 at her end of the world, so it's hard.
Lucky.
Hey, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Also in Wyoming, we have Beer Cub.
Hello, folks.
Hey, Beer Cub.
And down south, we have only me. Where are you, Brister? All right, the Brister. And then we have John. I'm sorry, John joined us. He's from Alabama. Now, up north, we have John in Indiana with Zone 1. And we have Poznansky's Beer Reviews in Queens, New York.
Let's go, Mets.
One of the 5 boroughs. Now, what I wanted to say was I didn't get the least little bit of skunk. And when I bought this bottle, I reached to the very back of the shelf where it was in the dark, so it wouldn't be light struck.
Are there different kinds, different versions of this?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't know what I got. I went to 2 different stores, and when I found it, I just grabbed it and ran.
Show me the bottle. It looks like a quart bottle.
Hey, Jay, weren't it used to be in yellow a while ago? The bottles. I mean, I mean not the bottles, but the logo.
Okay, John. Okay, Jean, you have the new label.
Okay.
This summer, they started revamping the labels. So what some of us have is the previous label, and I don't know if the 32-ounce bottles have gone to the new label yet. If you notice, the cap is the new cap, though. They took the new cap and put it on. They probably had a bunch of labels left over, and they said, we're not wasting all these labels, so they slapped them on the bottle, but they put the new cap. You notice the cap is the new design.
Right.
What does the new design look like?
Well, it's red, and it's got SOL, and it's kind of got like a little black border around it.
Like that?
It's a little more, yep, that's the new design, yep, uh-huh. Now, Jean,
Yes.
my Haitian friend,
Yes.
show the people your bottle.
This is the new bottle right here I got in front of
Yeah.
me.
Oh, that's what I
Yeah.
got.
Twist off cap.
Yep.
Twist cap. Okay, so that's the new design that just hit, really, I think it's only been a month or maybe 2 months.
Right.
Now, I'm going to go put the rest of this in the fridge because I do not want this big jug to get warm.
So, and because I remember looking at the packaging, in the 6 pack, and it used to be yellow. So I was there at Rouse's looking for it, and I said, I don't see Soul. I don't see Soul. And then this one lady walked up to me and said, here it is right there in front of you. Oh, so when did they change the label up? When did they change the whole design? Oh, yeah, they changed it about a month ago. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's been recent. Another thing, about 5 years ago, those labels were painted. But you notice now they're stick-ons.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
Stick-on.
Yeah, I know this.
Paint. It used to be actual paint on the bottle. But
Now,
you know when they got bought out? You know when they got bought out by Heineken in 2010? Those big companies, they start saying, look, we're going to save money. And they might see where the Mexican company was inefficient in some ways. And they probably did studies where they could use a stick-on label and save money and maybe figure most people wouldn't notice. But old Louisiana Beer Reviews noticed.
These 32 ounces they're painted on. They're not stickers.
You could peel that off.
I just peeled it off.
I've been sitting here trying.
You look real carefully. It's got an edge to it. Now, the paint.
You gotta have good nails.
Now listen, folks. The little SOL on the neck. SOL on the neck is paint. Does it really matter? Now, they also make this beer in cans. They also make this beer in cans, but I haven't seen it in Louisiana in cans. I did see it in Texas in cans last week. 12-ounce cans. Down in Mexico, they do have 40-ounce bottles, but to my knowledge, they're not sold in Louisiana or any other state, just the Mexican side. So, Tanya, you asked about other type of soul beers. Yes, there's one called Cerro, which is no alcohol, zero, right? Cerro. There's a soul Radler, which is made with it's like a shandy, right? Lemonade. There's a soul limon, I think it's like lime. There's a soul clamato.
Ugh.
Ew.
Made with clamato. I drank it when I went to Mexico last year. I bought a can, and I'm pretty sure I have the video posted. It's just like, tomato juice, clam broth, and soul mixed together.
Doesn't sound too appetizing.
God.
It was pretty
Makes my
good.
stomach churn.
It was pretty good. But we only get regular soul in America. I mean, the United States of America, right? So I guess we ought to look at the beer itself instead of just rambling on about how it's packaged. I know it has some medals on the label. I couldn't find any awards that it won on the big award sites, but I do think there's some gold medals on the label. But they might be from 1905. go west to east this time. Tanya, you're in California, and you hadn't joined us in a while, so we're going to let you go first. What do you think about this beer? I know you're very big into style. That's what's so fascinating about the videos when I watch your videos. This is a lager. It's American Adjunct Lager.
I just jumped right in and tasted it. I didn't even smell it or anything. But it's not as sweet as I expected it would be, actually, which I like.
Yeah.
So that's my first impression.
Oh, let me interrupt real fast. Has anyone not had this before?
This is my second time having this.
I had it one time, but
I don't know if I've had it.
So Lee, you had it once.
But I put a lot of lime in it, so doesn't count.
You adulterated. Tanya, this is your first time? Oh, you had it once.
I don't think I've had it.
Okay. John?
This is my fourth time having this.
And Beer Cup.
I've had it a handful of times.
Okay. Now back to Tanya. I'm sorry to interrupt, but back to Tanya.
Oh, so it's much less sweet than I had expected it would have been as a lager. So it's very crisp, which I actually think is pretty nice. It smells sweet though. It smells like corn, but it doesn't taste the same way I would expect a lager to. So I like it actually. Pretty good. I think it would be great with lime.
Yeah, and in fact,
it was
the advertising that they do kind of promotes the use of lime. If you look at a lot of the print ad. What about you, Beer Cup?
Yeah, it's pretty mild, crisp, easy drinking. It's not, there's not a whole lot to describe in this beer. Nothing offensive to complain about either. As far as any hops at all, maybe at the very end, just a tiny bit of citrus is about all I get. But other than that, just an easy drinking, good hot weather beer, or I'm sure it goes well with any kind of food you want to pair it with.
Yeah. How about? Well, I'll give my description. I agree with both of y'all. It is very light and mellow, 4.5%. I mean, it's made for major session drinking. The body is pretty light to medium. It's almost in the light range, but it does have some body. I find it's not. The aroma is sort of like, these Mexican beers have like a characteristic that I can't really describe, but they just always say they smell like Mexican beers. I don't know, could be the water or something. I don't know. But it's not a bad smell. The flavor is low profile. There is some malt pickup, and there's a little barley pickup. There's a hop bitterness at the end, but it's so low. The IBU must be around at the most 12, but I would think it couldn't be higher than 12. But I do pick up a little hop bitterness.
I don't think that any lager style should ever have 12 IBUs. Oh, never mind. I'm reading the wrong thing. Forget that. But I was going to say to that is that it's very carbonated, and I think that influences the flavor at the end. I don't know that it's flavor so much as sensation.
I'm getting a little bitterness, but it's a little bit. But it's there. It's not as much as, say, a Miller High Life. Now, Miller High Life has a noticeable bitterness. This one has a bitterness that you have to reach for a little bit. And it finishes pretty dry and crisp. Well, it's a basic beer. I know a lot of Mexicans drink it. It is popular in Louisiana and in Mexico and in Texas, I'm sure. So it's just like, hey, they've been making it since 1899. People buy it. No one goes like berserk about it. It's not, to me, it's not a speculative beer. It's more like just a drinking beer. It's not made to sit there and like reflect on 200 different characteristics or even 20 characteristics. Now going to Jean-Pierre.
Well, this is my second time having this. The first time I had this, I was on a cruise heading to Cozumel in Mexico. I had this as we had the other beer last week, Pacifico. Same thing, same scenario, same place. I wasn't really too, really excited about this beer. It's not great, but then again, it's not bad either. It is very carbonated. I was having some fajitas earlier with me and the missus and the kid, and you know, it went down pretty smooth, pretty easy. wasn't overly heavy, very carbonated. You know, it's an okay drinking beer. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. I'm kind of, you know, in between on this one.
Yeah, and we're not here to be boosters for the beer. It's not like we're saying, oh, yay, we are promoting this beer because we have some connection to Heineken. We're just saying, let's examine it. And I think, well, we'll go on to the next one. All right, John, and then Lee.
It coming in at 4.5. I put it as more of a light beer. Excuse me. I don't know if anybody's ever had a beer called Miller Genuine Draft Light. It almost kind of compares me to that beer. I mean, in that same regards. I mean, because I think it's got some corniness to it. Definitely get that malt flavor to it, but it's got a lot of big carbonation to it. It's got some good lacing to it. I put it on. I mean, I think it looks like a Miller High Life Light, Miller Genuine Draft Light style of beer. I mean, I don't think you can put any three of those beers down and tell them apart. I mean, it's drinkable.
Kind of like, to me, it has some characteristics that are not unlike Milwaukee's Best. You're wearing a Milwaukee's Best shirt. It's kind of like that in a way.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe that's a crazy. But to me, it's similar. Now, Lee.
This is actually the second time I've had this beer. First time was a while ago. I remember I was coming home from a bike ride home, and I was sweating, and it was a hot day outside, so I put a few limes. I put about 3 limes in the bottle, and I chugged it back. So I think it's more of that kind of a beer, you know, where you chug it down when you're really thirsty after that kind of hot day, kind of like. Also, is there adjuncts in this beer, like corn or rye?
I believe they use corn.
Corn.
It's an American adjunct, right?
Yeah, that's what they're considering. That's correct. Adjunct lager.
Yes, because when the German immigrants came to Mexico and Canada and to, well, especially Mexico and the United States, that's what they did. They found that the Americans preferred the adjunct flavor as opposed to the all barley malt flavor. So, well, that's what they kept making.
And now you guys all say it's 4.5. On my bottle, it says 4.2% alcohol.
Really?
Just pointing it out there. On the back. For me. That's what my bottle says.
Where do you see that?
Let's see if you can.
Yeah, I see mine too. It says the same thing. 4.2% alcohol by volume.
Where?
On the back, underneath the CA cash refund.
Yeah, all that above the barcode.
Right, on top of it, right.
Mine doesn't say nothing about that.
No.
Okay.
No.
On the left above the barcode?
Mine just has a list of all the companies that the beer is sold in.
Yeah, that's
where it's in France, Italy, Germany, United States.
Mine doesn't have that.
Yeah, mine says Sveriga, España, Österreich, Netherlands, Finland, Argentina, Brazil, Philippines, Colombia, Ireland, Belgium, Schweiz, Canada, some Korean-looking thing, New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Kypros, that's Cyprus, and Greece, I guess, Greece. It's sold all over the world.
Mine doesn't say anything about that.
And it says it's imported.
Hey, now what does that tell you, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Something's going crazy in this crazy mixed-up world.
What's that?
What's that?
This bottle is painted.
I told you it was painted.
Did you? Yeah. You know what I say? Told you.
Oh, well.
Please enjoy Sol. And it says a product of Mexico.
Okay, the 12-ounce
imported by Chavez, White Plains, New York. Where the brewery is in White Plains, New York.
No, that's the importer. That's the
Imported by.
Okay.
Yeah, imported by the.
Okay.
It doesn't say alcohol by volume on this bottle.
No. Heineken International.
It does.
Listen, folks. Heineken of America, Heineken USA, their headquarters is in White Plains, New York.
Okay.
All the Heineken International brands are brought in through that, not facility, but through that agency.
So this is a Heineken product?
It's a Heineken International product, yes. since 2010. Okay, I really feel silly, but I'm glad that it's a painted bottle for the quart because the painted bottles look better. And to me, it's a beautiful label, you know, regardless of the beer. I love the label. It's the sun rising above the mountains. It says Cerveza beer. It's got the word soul. It says created in 1899, and it's got these medals that it won sometime in history. I think it's a really sharp looking bottle. Now, of course, you know, that adds to the pleasure, but I think it makes me want to. Every time I see it, I think I want to buy this and drink it and look at the label while I'm drinking it. But let's see. The second part of this is, would you buy it again? Now, I only paid $2.29 for this quart.
I can't get quarts here.
Heck yeah, I'd buy it again for that price.
I can't get quarts here. Only you get Soul in 6-packs.
Me too. I could take just one out of the 6-pack.
Oh, I take that back. I'm sorry, I didn't pay $2.29. I paid $2.19, and I do get a little paperiness. I get a little paperiness like I do with some Central American beers. But I only paid $2.19 for this quart.
Now, why would they want to? You said they wanted to brew it in white in like clear bottles. That would easily lead to the skunking, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, but apparently they didn't care because they sell it in these clear bottles because they want people to see that golden ray of sunshine. And if you don't put it out in the light, it won't get skunked. Well, I didn't hear anybody remark about any skunk tonight.
Not at all.
None. There was none.
I did not pick up a shred of skunkiness at all.
Let me say this about this beer. When I picked this beer up, there was 8 behind this beer. I could have grabbed the 9th one. I grabbed the one out of the front purposely just to see if this beer can be skunked tonight. And I'll tell you what, it's not.
I know a man that's 80 years old, right? He said back in the 1970s he would go down to Mexico. Well, his wife is Costa Rican, and he used to teach Spanish for Southeastern Louisiana University. He said when they would go to Mexico, he would buy Sol the whole time they were there because it was 10 cents a bottle.
Wow.
So he said he would drink it all day because it really is drinkable. Now, it's not super flavorful, and I think it was designed that way. But I'm going to give you my 2 cents and let everybody else talk. I would buy it again, but I don't adore it, and I'm not like fixated on it. But I think it's a pretty pleasant beer, and I think it would go great with Mexican food, especially very spicy Mexican food. And that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I had it with fajitas tonight, so it's all right with it. You know, like I said.
Did you buy it again?
No, I would probably pick Victoria over this.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I'm gonna say this. Is this a buy again beer? I mean, I think it would be if you sit on a nice beach somewhere. I mean, I'm a big light beer fan, but if I had to choose between a Bud Light or a Miller Lite or this, sit on the beach, I would probably take this if it was ice cold because I think this will be a whole lot more refreshing and thirst quenching and than those 2 beers.
Yep. Anyone else?
I would probably, I mean, it's a good beer, but I would probably pick a Pacifico over this one for my refreshing taste. As I said, I did enjoy the Pacifico when we did the review on it, so I actually buy a lot more of those now, and that would be my refreshing beer for these Mexican beers, definitely. Pacifico over this one.
Yeah, and that's an Anheuser-Busch InBev brand. And this beer is owned by the same people that make Tecate Ambar that we did, but you know.
And Dos Equis, right?
Dos Equis, right? Not Tecate Ambar. I mean Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, yeah.
And Tecate too, by the way. But
and they also do I think they also do Carta Blanca. Am I correct?
The mysterious Carta Blanca, which almost none of y'all can get, but that I can get, and I got it for $1.99 a quart.
I can get the 6-pack. I can get the 6-pack here in Mobile.
Okay, we need to look at that. I'm serious. Tanya, what did you say? Tanya?
Oh, I said you just need. I wanted you to share that $1.99 a quart or whatever. That's amazing. As far as whether or not I would buy this again, you know, I'm actually I liked it more than I thought I would. And when I go to Mexican restaurants, I generally buy Negra Modelo, excuse me, and it's good. And you know, so this to me is, you know, it's on par with that. I also like Land Shark as a cheap kind of summery lager beer, but I can't find it very often.
Yeah,
I got it in, gosh, Florida or Alabama, and now I can't get it over here.
Oh yeah, land shark is pretty common here in Louisiana, and of course in Alabama and Florida, naturally.
Oh, land sharks everywhere here.
Yeah, I guess that was the benefit of vacationing in Alabama.
Correct. What is this?
Probably Tuck.
Tell Friar, tell Friar Tuck that he has to join us through my. Hey, y'all cut him off, okay? Tell him he has to join us through our invitation.
Yeah, it took me a second to figure out how to get into it once I accepted yes.
We're going to cut those people off. I don't know why. You know, they get confused because they think they have to send a video call to join a video call. But I'm sorry, that's not the way you do it.
Hey, but let me ask a question, Jay. Since we're on the topic of this skunkiness and these Mexican style type, how come, you know, anytime you hear about these, they're always skunk. Do you think that's something in the malts or the beer itself, not just the clear bottles and the sun hitting? Do you really think these beers are skunked?
They only get skunked because they're in the light. They're not going to get skunked on their own. There is no way Heineken International is going to make beers that is just like faulty because of bad production.
I'm not saying faulty in general. I'm just saying, do you think there's something in the beer itself that makes everybody equate to this beer being skunked?
No, I don't. I just think the problem is, and we got Friar joining us, I think the problem is that people are buying beers from companies and stores and bar rooms that are leaving this stuff out in the light, or they're letting it sit in a cooler under those fluorescent lights. That's what's happening. I don't think it's the ingredients, and I don't think it's because look, we're drinking it tonight. No one is talking about skunk, so
Yeah.
it can't be the ingredients. In this beer, I'm telling you, you could put this beer in a taste challenge with Busch, Old Milwaukee. What's another one? Pabst Blue Ribbon, and there is almost no way, or in Dos Equis Especial, if I want to add that one, there's no way people would be able to tell it apart. I mean, it's just like the American version of Rolling Rock, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Kirkland Light.
I'll put it more on the line of Miller High Life.
What's all this noise? I think, Dawn, you running a vacuum cleaner while we're talking. I think it's please don't run vacuum cleaners while we're no, I think Miller High Life has a lot more hops.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you put it in the light version.
Oh yeah. I do not include it as a light beer. I consider it a American adjunct lager. But it's close. It's close to the light category. Now, Friar, you've had this beer before?
Yes, I have. I've had the, what is it, a 32 ounce.
Okay, good. And it's a painted label, unlike what I said erroneously earlier, not knowing what I was talking about. Now, give us your impression of this beer and tell us if you would buy it again.
Just opened it right now. I had a bit of a skunk smell to it, but it went away real quick. Could be the hops. I'm not sure. Taste wise, Pretty crisp, refreshing. Not much of a flavor whatsoever. Only beer I've had today, so nothing's affecting the taste on it. It's light and refreshing. Definitely on a nice hot summer day like today, it's perfect.
Now, Tanya says, more than halfway through this quart, I had a hint of skunk. So fleeting that I may just be thinking about it. Yeah, it could be like the power of suggestion. Like,
yeah, that could have been on my end too. I don't know. I got a quick whiff, and it went away real quick though.
I'll tell y'all what, though. I'm telling you right now, I am picking up a little bit of hop bitterness at the end of the sip. It is not profound. It is not something that you would pick up if you weren't thinking about it. But no, it is not a hoppy beer. No, no, no. But it is there. It is there. It's, you know, this beer is what they call round. Schaefer, y'all know Schaefer beer. They used to promote that, how their beer was so round. Like it was so like, you couldn't distinguish the hops from the malt. It was just like...
Round.
That's what they call it, round. Schaefer said their beer was round.
Yeah, it's pretty well balanced.
That's a good description. I think that's a really good description. I've kind of tried to figure out how to describe that when I taste beers like amber or red ales that are really quite in the middle that have a good balance. Like, how do I describe that? Because it is round. I mean, it even has a roundness in the palate. So yeah, that's a good description. This is not round.
That's actually a technical description of beer. If it's round, that means it's not any more malty than it is hoppy, and it's no more hoppy than it is malty.
Adopting that. Thanks. Thanks for that bit of knowledge.
No, don't thank me. Thank Schaefer. Well, Lee, the last part was would you buy it again? Not Lee, Friar Tuck, would you buy it again?
Price point, no. Flavor-wise, yes. I think I paid like $9 at least for this 6-pack.
What? $9?
$9. That's about right for New York.
Yeah, only place I could find it over by me. I found it in Rhode Island.
That is not so good in New England. Now, Friar, would you buy it again if you could get it for $2.19 a quart like I got it for?
Yeah, I think the one time I was able to find this was up closer to Hartford by me. It was close to that price when I was able to get a big bottle of it. Like I said, I can only find 6-packs of it now, and that's only in a couple stores around me. And it's like $8 maybe and change, $9. I think that's what I paid for it in Rhode Island. But yeah, if it was cheaper, definitely. If it was like $7 a 6-pack, I definitely would probably buy it again.
Now Tanya said $3.99 a quart. Well, that's not too good.
I didn't realize how cheap you were getting it. So to me, it seemed reasonable, but you know that's almost double I paid.
Yeah.
That's over $4 after the California redemption, whatever crap that they add on. It was like $4.19 or something.
Yeah,
I give it $2.39 for my quart.
Yeah, mine was $2.19 for mine. Now, well, okay, no one wants to drink Sol Clamato. Well, it doesn't matter. We can't get it anyway, so that's a joke. But
sounds like a Bloody Mary to me.
It basically is.
Without vodka.
Probably worse.
Not vodka, but it with beer. Now, next week, so we pretty much beat this beer to death. It's not extraordinary, but it's. I didn't hear anybody say they hated it.
No.
No.
Not off-putting at all.
I don't hate really any beers.
I would give this beer a better rating than Beer Advocate and Rate Beer give it.
What do they say? What does Rate Beer say?
They give it a bad score.
Like 1 and like 1 overall, 1 style, and it was ungodly. It was low. They browbeat this beer to death.
Beer Advocate made it. I said it was awful.
I feel like any lager that's rated on Rate Beer or Beer Advocate, you can't look at the ratings because they're not done fairly. They're not done to style. They're
You're
like,
right.
we hate lagers, F lagers, we hate it, it's awful. And it's just, I think it's a stupid approach. It really irritates me.
Yeah, how could you drink this beer and say that it is a 1 out of 100?
Yeah, exactly.
You
What
say
is zero?
99%
Beer's got zero.
bad. Believe me, if it was a 1 out of 100, you would not be able to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've had some of those beers.
Yeah, I was
So have I.
gonna throw in I was gonna throw in my would I buy it again comment because I missed that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I would buy it again based on price point, sort of like Friar Tuck. However, there's one caveat to that. If I saw this beer on tap, I would definitely buy it because I'd love to try it that way. But I've never seen it on tap anywhere.
Ah, very important. These beers almost always are better on draft. Here's an example real fast. We're running a little long, sorry. I was at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery in Houston, Texas just a few days ago. They started offering tours there only in April, so only 4 months ago. It was a 10:30 tour, so I was the only one on the tour. They told me, well, the 2:30 tour was sold out. But actually, they said they would actually still sell tickets if people walked up. But anyway, I went to the 10:30 tour, and the girl took me. They're not going to turn down money, all right? The girl
No, they're not. Anheuser-Busch, never.
But I went on what they call the Beer Masters tour, so it cost me like $30, right? $29.95. All right. But they took me all through the brewery, they took me into this room where they brew the beer, and that was pretty interesting. I mean, these huge, facilities, and then they took me into the they call it the cooking. They call it the cookers, and I was looking in the cooker, and it looked like porridge, And then this place was like a scientific factory. There was no playing around, no fun and games. It was a serious place. Everybody there was real serious, right? So then they took me in the room where they have the torpedoes. They call them torpedoes. They're huge, it looks like a torpedo, but it's full of beechwood chips, and they shoot them in these huge aging tanks. So that was fascinating, and they brought me in this room where they had the finishing tanks. Well, the finishing tanks are where they let the beer get clarified because lager beers tend to be cloudy, but if they let them set in a tank for a few days, they clear up. So she said, I'm going to let you drink this Bud Light out of a finishing tank. And that's the point I'm trying to make. When you drink this beer on draft, if you drink Bud Light out of a can or a bottle, it's okay, But if you drink it out of that finishing tank in a 35-degree room, I'm telling you right now, there's no comparison. So if you drink this, you need to go to that tour, Tanya. If you drink this, I'm telling you, if you went down to Monterrey, Mexico, and you drank this Sol beer out of a finishing tank in a room that was 35 degrees, it would be so much elevated above what we're drinking now. And then I'm drinking, I'm on an empty stomach too now. So I'm drinking that, and I'm like, wow. She gives me a whole big glass. She said, you can keep the glass. They gave me a cap. If you want to say gave, they sold it to me. She said, well, let's go to the bar. Well, I went into the laboratory where they make sure the beer's okay, and then I saw them bringing the beers up to test, and then I went into the bottling room where they had thousands of 40-ounce bottles of Bud Ice, and then they brought me into the bar, and she said, okay, let's do the flight. So they're bringing out all these Anheuser-Busch beers to try on draft. Try this, try that, try this, try that. So I tried them all. And then she said, now, what do you want to drink in your pint glass? I said, look how much you already gave me. I said, I don't know if I should get Landshark or Montejo, another Mexican beer. She said, well, try both of them. Now she's breaking the rules because those weren't part of the flight. What did I do?
Get them both.
I drank them both. So
Now, was that included in the price, Jay?
no, I've been on Anheuser-Busch tours before, and I noticed that oftentimes they're very fast and loose with the rules. They'll say, you only get 5 beers. But how about 9? Right.
Wow.
So who's going to say, oh, no, I only paid for 5? All right, so, and by the way, every employee at the brewery gets 2 cases of beer a month of their choice. But anyway, of their choice. Anyway, so I said, I think I'll take the Montejo, but it's a close call. So then she gives me the big pint of Montejo, and I drank that down. Now, this is all of this going on within a 25 to 35 minute period. I said, now what's going to happen when I said, I have to eat something, oh, there's a Mexican restaurant down the interstate, so I went over there and I ate a huge burrito plate. But the whole point of this long and seemingly pointless story is that the beer is really, really good on draft. So if someone brought up draft, if you can get this beer on draft, go for it, because I bet you it's going to be quite enhanced. Because they'll tell you on the tour. They'll tell you on the tour that when they pasteurize it, it negatively impacts the quality of the beer. But they don't want it to rot. If they don't pasteurize it, it will rot. And that's it for me talking.
Hey, Jay, is the one in Houston, and I started laughing when you said this. How come they don't talk about their malt liquors, King Cobra and Hurricane?
Well,
King
my
Cobra.
experience, and then I'm going to talk to Tanya because I know you want to say something. My experience with Anheuser-Busch is different than my experience with Miller. If you go on an Anheuser-Busch tour, they'll give you a list of all the beers they make at the facility. I'll say, well, if you talk about malt liquors, they say, look, don't bring that up. Well, anyway, all a malt liquor is simply an extra strong lager. It's made the same way as what we're drinking tonight. It's just stronger. But the United States has strange laws, whereas if you go to Canada, they'll just call it extra strong beer. But in America, you can't call it that, so they made up a term, malt liquor. If you go to England, they'll call it extra strong beer. But Anheuser-Busch doesn't want to talk about it. Now, if you go to the Miller Brewery tour in Milwaukee, they'll say, here's all our malt liquors. And they'll say, let's all drink Mickey's, and they'll go into that, and they're really proud of it. So it's interesting, but the approach. But it's funny because I was on the tour here, right? And what was one of the beers on the flight? Occulto. What is Occulto? 6% alcohol. What is Occulto? A spiced
Tequila or agave or whatever. Ugh.
Agave-infused malt liquor. And what is a malt liquor? Extra strong beer. So it's comical that they try to evade the issue even though they actually make the product. But, okay, now, Tanya you're welcome. Tanya wanted to say something?
I don't remember the point that I was going to make, actually.
Sorry.
That's okay. But I think it's interesting about the malt liquor. I think that Occulto has gotten such good, I don't know if it's press, but has been so well received that they're willing to talk about it. Because everybody that I've bought it for a party because it had the skull, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'll have this at the party. And everybody loved it. And I took a drink, and I was like, oh, I can't drink this. It's like syrup water. It's awful. But everybody loved it. So I guess popularity has a lot to do with it. And Mickey's probably has because I used to drink Mickey's when I was a kid, but that was in the ghetto. So.
Hey, well, let me say this about Mickey's. Mickey's is a lot better than Occulto because it doesn't have the flavoring. It's not aged in a tequila staves. It's just a straight up beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Cub, I know the Cubs game is on. He's like, why y'all keep talking? The Cubs game's on. I understand that.
Yeah, I got to jump off too, guys. My birthday. I got to go have a cake.
Hey, well, happy birthday, John.
You're welcome.
Birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John.
But anyway, we're finished. People are like, but anyway, I think we made the point. You're right, Tanya. I agree with Tanya. Those beers, to me personally, are kind of disgusting. I hate drinking them, but I think those beers appeal to people that don't really care for the taste of beer.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that beer right there, you give it about another year, and it's going to be a dead zone.
Occulto?
Yeah, it's going to go away it's going to go away faster than it started.
It won't go fast. It won't go away faster than Not Your Father's Root Beer. If you want to talk about a really disgusting product.
Can I get that? Ugh.
Lucky you. Lucky you. You like being sick to your stomach? You like being grossed out, as they used to say in the 80s?
I got another brand. I don't remember what the brand. Mission Brewery root beer, and it is so sweet. Like, I don't know how you could drink more than one. It's good. Like, I would totally make a float out of it, like as a, you know, if I was at, I don't even know, if I was at a restaurant and having one ice cream dessert or whatever, but to drink, ugh.
I think not your father's root beer is good if you have one.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, one.
One.
I don't think you can drink more than just one. I mean, I think that you know, all those beers like that are riding the wave right now.
Right. You would literally throw up if you drank too much of that. But
You
that's
would.
why and here's the ultimate point of what we're saying here. That's why this beer's soul is better than any of those beers. Because you can drink it all day. It doesn't have disgusting, ridiculous, asinine, and gimmicky flavors added to the beer. Is it extraordinary or exquisite? No. Does it claim to be? No, it does not. Can you drink it all day? Absolutely.
Preach.
That's right, I'm going to preach, because I am sick of the gimmicks.
Oh, I keep trying them. I keep trying them just because I'm like, well, maybe it's just my opinion. And every time I drink one, I'm like, oh, God, this is awful.
Oh, I'll try them. And I always hate them, but, you know, hey. Any last comments on Soul? Any last comments on Soul?
I mean, I don't think it's a tremendous beer. I think it's a drinkable beer. I think it's a beach beer. And, I mean, I think it's just a great all-around beer. I mean,
in other words, it exists, so we examined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. But, you know, if I was in Mexico, I would love to have this on tap, and I would chug it all day long on tap.
And you would never get, like, sick of it. Like, you wouldn't start getting like, oh, this is making me ill. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, I could drink this all day on a beach in Mexico. I could pound these bad boys all day long.
But imagine if you drank a six-pack of Not Your Father's root beer. Imagine how bad you would feel the next day.
I couldn't drink a
Don't
six-pack.
start, Jay, on that, man. Oh, boy.
You would be so ill, your vacation would be ruined. But you would not get sick drinking this stuff. Okay, my laptop battery is dying, and I left my charger at the office. If I get connected, have a great night. Okay, any last comments? We got to cut off. We started drinking. We drank enough. We got exuberant. We went too long. Now I go.
I drank my whole quart.
You drank his whole. Me too.
I drank my whole 12-ounce.
Hey, it's a party. But anyway, I guess we covered the general idea. All right, any last comments? Last chance.
Okay, beer to me. Not great.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is, and I'm very excited about Tecate next week because Tecate has a lot more character.
And I'm glad I can find that in a 24-ounce can.
Definitely.
I've got a quart in my fridge.
I had a quart one time. I got a 12-pack for like $11, I think it was.
Oh, man.
Very
That's
high.
not bad. For up there, for Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get them for $9.99. But
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not bad for your part of the world. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's
Tanya,
under $1 in, so.
Tanya, do you think that perhaps you could join us for Tecate?
I don't know. I have no idea what my week looks like next week. I hope so, because I don't think I've ever had Tecate. I've only made fun of it, so I can't make fun of it validly.
Make fun of something you've never had.
My point exactly. So I better drink it.
Yeah, but let's say you can't do it. I would still love to see a video review from you on Tecate because I think Tecate is well, I don't want to influence you, but anyway, I would like to see you. Lee, everybody.
I'm just giving you a hard time, sweetheart.
No, I agree. I mean, you can't make fun of things you haven't tried, right? Don't knock it till you try it. So.
I've never had it.
Exactly.
And so, all right, folks, thanks for watching this extended, and we apologize. Well, we don't really apologize because no one's supposed to watch. No one has to watch this stuff. All right, thank you, folks. Good night, and behave.
Hola, everybody.
Hola.
Have a good night.
Get off here. My wife's got a cake ready.